Picture this. For a very long time, you have been feeling mildly melancholic. It is as if there is something missing that was once so important to you, but you can't even remember its name. Or you can, but you have no way of achieving it. You don't even have any idea where this feeling came from, let alone know how to deal with it. More things add up, and everything starts to lose the vibrance they once had. Everything is somewhat the same, yet you can no longer find solace in them, or maybe you never did. There is no reason you can point at and blame. In fact, it looks like everything is excellent and you are the problem. This unknown feeling keeps growing, and eventually, you become unable to hide the signs. Your parents find out, or it was you who wanted to open your heart and tell them what the problem is. But while your sadness was craving for comfort and reasoning, you are met with an unfair backlash. You are ungrateful. And you agree with their reasoning, but even then, there is something wrong. You try to say that you are thankful for the opportunities you have, for your health, for the fact that you can bathe whenever you want, that there is always clean clothing, and you have something to eat. You are aware that you are grateful for all of them. That is not the problem. You know they are valuable, but the sadness persists. As the cruel and shadowy grasp of depression and disinterest creeps closer, you find yourself doubting your own feelings and the signals your body uses to communicate with you. You know something is missing, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs might explain what it is. In this video, we'll explore why these upsetting feelings arise, what Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells us about our desires and emotions, and how to reconcile these feelings without self-blame. While dealing with such an intense and dangerous emotion like sorrow, it is most important to walk away from self-blame based on what we are being told, and instead, form a judgment based on our findings. To understand why this sadness exists, we need to look at a theory that explains what every human being truly needs to feel whole: Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is often visualized as a pyramid with 5 levels, each representing a category of human needs. These needs build on each other, starting from the most basic and moving toward the more complex. Let's break down each step and understand how it contributes to our sense of fulfillment. 1. Physiological needs. At the foundation of the pyramid are our most basic survival needs: food, water, warmth, and rest. Without these, nothing else matters. In our daily lives, this might look like ensuring you have a stable income to afford groceries or a warm bed to sleep in. When these needs are unmet, it's almost impossible to worry about anything else. 2. Safety needs. Once survival is assured, our focus shifts to safety and security. This encompasses physical safety, financial stability, health, and a sense of order in life. For example, consider a family living paycheck to paycheck. Even if they have food and shelter, the constant fear of losing their job or getting sick creates stress and anxiety. 3. Belongingness and love needs. Humans are social creatures, and we thrive on connection. For most of us, what determines our right to exist and worthiness is the general reputation we believe we have among others. This level involves forming meaningful relationships, friendships, family bonds, patriotism, and romantic connections. Picture a college student who has all their physical and safety needs met but feels isolated in a new city. Despite their external comforts, loneliness can lead to feelings of emptiness. Belonging doesn't just mean having people around. It means feeling understood, valued, and accepted. Patriotism can be tied to the need for belonging. A nation, or the concept of a motherland or fatherland, can serve as a powerful source of identity and community for many people. Nations often act as extended communities. Shared language, culture, traditions, and history foster a sense of belonging that resonates deeply with our social nature. This can satisfy the need for connection and emotional security, similar to familial or close social bonds. Likewise, disinterest in one's national identity and even resentment against the birth nation can deter the solidness of this stage. 4. Esteem needs. The next step is about feeling respected, both by others and yourself. This includes self-esteem, achievement, and recognition. Since we are social creatures that heavily depend on our assumed reputation, the rate of being respected is a strong indicator for us that we are on a very right track. For instance, imagine an artist who creates beautiful work but feels invisible because no one acknowledges their efforts. This isn't about arrogance or fame, it's about knowing that your contributions matter and having confidence in your abilities. The esteem need shouldn't be confused with egoism. Wanting to get praised and being pushy about it are two different things. Even so, egoism itself is a part of human nature and shouldn't be shamed if it is kept at understandable levels. In fact, shaming egoism that is at normal rates can lead to a lack of self-esteem. 5. Self-actualization. At the very top of the pyramid is self-actualization, which Maslow described as reaching one's full potential. This is deeply personal and varies from person to person. The notion of success here is completely liquid, shaped by personal goals and lifelong fears and wants. It might mean pursuing a dream career, mastering a skill, or simply living authentically. Think of a retired teacher who spends their days volunteering in their community, feeling fulfilled because they're doing what aligns with their deepest values. I invite everyone to stop and have a look at this triangle, especially if the example I gave at the beginning of this video hits too close to home. Based on everything I have explained so far, which stage do you see yourself in? What do you need for them to be complete? Will they ever be complete? If someone you know with all the opportunities and welfare in the world looks awfully depressed or unfulfilled, one of the upper 3 segments is probably incomplete. If it is you who is feeling terrible, then it is very likely that you have trouble successfully satisfying these segments. As you try to decide whether you are seriously being ungrateful or not, please keep in mind that all of these are survival needs humans require for a healthy body and healthy mind. Just because the first 2 ensure survival doesn't mean the last 3 are any less important. If one were to ask my humble opinion, I would say that this generation's greatest issue is that we have a common problem with the 3rd stage. So many young people claim that their parents don't understand them. The internet is filled with people trying to find special names for their often stable conditions and wanting to join associated communities. Especially with patriotism continuing to melt away and traditions getting renewed or assimilated, the human need to belong to a bigger group increases haphazardly. While this desire to put a name for each condition might look cringe or even stupid, all I see is the helpless human desire to find a societal identity they can bond into. I'm afraid that, for many of us, the example at the beginning of the video isn't just an abstract idea, it's a lived reality. Sadness lingers, defying the labels and judgments others place upon it. People call it ungratefulness, but they miss the point entirely. Gratitude and sadness aren't mutually exclusive. You can be deeply thankful for what you have while still feeling an unbearable emptiness inside. Here's the truth that many people struggle to grasp. Sadness isn't always logical. It doesn't follow a complete order, just like the hierarchy of needs. It doesn't obey the simple arithmetic of, I have everything I need, so I should be happy. Instead, it's often the product of something intangible, something missing in the space between survival and purpose. Without the latter 3 forming the human experience, the first 2 don't carry that much meaning. We are overly conscious beings, and that is our curse. I would also like to show a clip from our previous video, Emotions, the other side of wisdom, to support this claim.
But a reason is literally what determines something's worth and whether or not it deserves attention. At some point, even value and hardship lose their meanings, but the reason always stays the same. The universe can consist of dirt, and we will still need it for its reason, not its value.
When others fail to understand that emotional emptiness is as unbearable as physical vulnerability, they resort to judgment. They call it weakness, selfishness, or ingratitude because those labels are easier to accept than the complexity of human emotion. Even so many sufferers of these terrible feelings agree with those labels, as we have been taught that survival always comes before a reason to survive. But sadness doesn't care about judgment. You cannot tame it with bad words. It continues to grow in the shadows of misunderstanding. While acknowledging the issues with the stages and working on them could help just fine, we get lost in the societal misconceptions of everything and everyone. This is especially true in families, where the gap between generations creates a unique tension. Parents, having worked tirelessly to provide safety and stability, often believe that these gifts should be enough to guarantee happiness. But the love that children need isn't transactional. It's not just about what's given, it's about how it's felt. A home isn't just 4 walls, it's a space where you feel seen, heard, and understood. When that's missing, the hierarchy crumbles, no matter how sturdy the foundation appears. This disconnect isn't born out of malice, it's often rooted in a lack of shared language and generational background. Parents speak in terms of sacrifices and opportunities, while children speak in terms of emotions and belonging. And when those languages don't align, sadness thrives in the silence between them. But I also invite you to consider the perspective of the parents, dear viewer. Notice the odd similarities between the stages we passed through as generations. Most of our parents and their ancestors probably belong to the 2nd stage, when ensuring our needs and security was the common goal. Succeeding at that was a huge feat. When you are being framed as ungrateful, you are just hearing what a different world the caregivers are living in. This doesn't mean they hate you or believe you are a total fool, but just can't grasp the situation you are in like you do. What means the world for them is so trivial in your eyes that this feels like disrespect? Please keep in mind that under their anger and confusion, there lies a disappointment. A disappointment that what they were promised as the best thing achievable doesn't mean much faced with human complexity. Understanding brings clearance, and with clearance comes wisdom. Ease your loath if you have any, not for them, but for yourself too. Before ending this video, I want to highlight one similarity I found. As I said, most of our parents and their ancestors probably belonged to the second stage, when ensuring our needs and security was the common goal. Our generation and the future generations lean almost entirely onto the third stage, where finding out who we are, where we belong, and achieving connection is the ultimate goal. If the Third World War doesn't start, then we are more than likely to stay on this stage for around 2 decades or more. Notice that if our generation fails the stage, the first and second stages will lose all meaning. In history, each time countries in general managed to reach the third and fourth stages, something went wrong and they fell right back. Nations that managed to reach self-actualization got their names written in history with outstanding changes and victories, but even they fell ill to this corruption. It all ties back to the presence and solidness of the third stage. And our role this time is even bigger, as in the digital age, we are no longer limited by our locations and languages. It is humanity against humanity. And it depends on us to decide whether humanity's survival is worth it. We cannot afford to make a mistake.